Get him out of here.
Get him out of here!
They them moments, because you have to be politically correct now or else YouTube gives you a spanking. I've heard many times that women don't need men and that men can't do anything and we should shoot the men off into the sun.
Need men?
No.
Do we need men?
Honestly, no.
Do we need men?
No.
But then there are moments like these when you see a woman repair a vehicle and she does it in a way that you could never think of because, I don't know, you intrinsically know how the vehicle works. Don't adjust your monitor. These are women repairing a flat tire with duct tape.
Right.
I don't even know what to say about this. This is like a fix you'd come up with if you were like a toddler. For real.
You got your
I don't need a man. I don't need a man.
Yeah, I did this when I was a little boy. Like when my bicycle had a flat, it was like, maybe I can fix it with tape, but at least like I had enough brain power to pull out the tube first to do it. But you know, you ever notice that sometimes trying to get a woman to do anything is a real pain in the ass? Like, hey honey, could you wash the dishes since I'm outside trying to fix this car? And she's like, no, I don't want to wash any dishes. What do you think I am, a slave? But you can get big tech companies to go to a woman and say, hey, how about you let us put a chip in your hand? You don't need any cash or cards. Just let us chip you like a little animal out in the wild. And they're like, okay, sounds good. I just can't really make sense of this modern age.
Where?
Futures now.
I love how she ends the video as if you're the idiot for assuming that this is just another step towards being tagged and shipped like a wild animal. Oh, you think they're just gonna try and track us? Yeah. If the transaction shows you were at Whole Food in Silicon Valley, they gotta know where you were. But then again, this woman went outside in that outfit and thought it was a good idea. So, not a really big thinker. I mean, my God, the taste in clothing is absolutely appalling. And you know she paid a small fortune for it. But if you think they're using it to track her, you're just a conspiracy theorist and a bigot, probably a misogynist. Don't let her husband tell her where to go. But if Silicon Valley says, let me chip you, she's all like, chip me, daddy. Are you living normally? Do you feel fine? I mean, in the sense of, are you capable of dealing with everyday garbage, not having a mental breakdown because you're an adult, you're a fully functioning human being, no matter how dystopian the world is? Well, guess what? You're the problem.
Listen, if you don't qualify for a mental illness under capitalism and fascism, then I don't trust you.
A bum. That's what he is. A bum.
Because that means that you are fine with your dystopian reality and everything is okay. Mental illness is a political identity and always has been.
Yeah. Weird.
It's always interesting to be lectured by a person that looks like a bad created character from a Bethesda game, am I right? Mental illness is always a political standpoint. Yes, it is, and that's why you shouldn't be allowed to vote, in my personal opinion. There we go. I'm going full villain. The mask is off.
Stop him!
You'd make poor decisions. Your whole life is probably a poor decision. That apartment probably looks like a squatter house. And I'm supposed to believe you're the one with the keys to my liberation. Could you imagine if Fight Club starred this human being rather than Brad Pitt's Tyler Durden? Why is it in our reality Tyler Durden looks like a sexually ambiguous young boy that probably couldn't even fill out a job application, let alone form a resistance? Remember the old days when you had to go to work do your job and shut up. Oh, and you had to be on time. Well, now there's a new, is this a disability? It's a new one. Only in this day and age do we get new ones.
So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time?
I just ignored the guy.
Wow. We're just blowing through nap time, aren't we?
Time blindness. I've heard of being blind where you can't see anything. I've heard of being deaf. Hell, I've heard of people that can't smell anything.
Well, I can't smell anything.
You can't smell anything.
I think I lost my sense of smell.
You gone smell blind, son.
But I've never heard of people that are time blind. I wish she'd explain how it works, but I doubt she will. If anything, time blindness just means she can't get anywhere on time because she's a jackass.
You know. And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else, and then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist, and if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job.
I can't believe this chick is actually sitting there and crying because someone basically told her there's no such thing as time blindness. It's either you show up in time, you get a job, or you don't, and you don't have a job. You can't, like, file for disability and be like, what's your disability? I struggle with time. Whenever I look at a clock, I pass out and wake up 2 hours late.
You know, provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think...
So basically they were right about you. You are a precious little snowflake that somehow manages to always be late. And you're like, the culture is wrong, not me. But what if they changed the time to accommodate you? You'd only show up later. It's a slippery slope of shit rolling downhill. And the employer's at the bottom if they acquiesce to your whims. I'm sorry, I know you changed my schedule for 4:15, but could I do 4:30 now?
that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can...
You gotta be shitting me. This kid is actually fighting with the interviewer. Like, the bourgeoisie have designed being on time for work. It's the machinations of white supremacists. Being punctual is rooted in racism.
can look to. I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled. And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system? And then to think, I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitlement.
They need to treat you like shit. Whoever this person is, I'll buy you a drink. This little needs to be yelled at on occasion to wake you up to the reality that is the world doesn't owe you jack. And the only reason why you're able to live this absolutely ignorant and repugnant is because you're in one of the greatest nations throughout human history. And if we ever fall, we're all going to be like Venezuelans, but we'll have nowhere to migrate to. So it's going to go straight from America to Mad Max in an instant. And no one's going to care about your time blindness then, because you'll probably be eaten by cannibals.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing the machinations of the people of Twitter. This video was brought to you by today's sponsor, most likely me. Go pick up the Fluffy toy because she's a lovely little puppy and I love her with all my heart. Fluffy doesn't struggle with time blindness. Whenever it's time to get up, Fluffy's raring to go. The dog's got a better work ethic than a white girl in the modern age. God help us all. In her own little fail box, this gorgeous piece captures the very essence of Fluffy's playful and loving nature. The pre-orders are live now on utunes.com, and once they sell out, they're gone for good, as I don't think uTunes wants to ever deal with me ever again, unless I make big yen. Don't disappoint the baby Fluff. She has so much to give. Order now. Your money will be used to further troll Darkside Phil.